fake radio voices back then. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Be the Media Huntington. Tonight is Tuesday, July 10th, 2018, and I am Jenny Lee, and tonight I have with me Miss Dana.
Hi, guys.
And Miss Lisa, who's fresh out of the pool. So we had a great 4th of July. We are full into summer. It's so far turning out to be a good one. Lisa, you want to tell us a little bit more about the pool shenanigans you've been doing over at LA Fitness?
Yeah, I just got back from the class. Every Tuesday, it's from 6 to 6:50. I stayed out. I hung out and talked. That's why I'm all wet right now, and I got a sweatshirt on because it's a little chilly with the air conditioner on. But it's called Water Fit, and the instructor is Claudia, and it is just absolutely so fun. And if you have, any neck issues or back issues like I do, the Water Fit class is just what you need. It's really awesome. I love it.
Where is
every Tuesday and Thursday at the LA Fitness?
Where's this new LA Fitness?
On Jericho Turnpike, over by the high school. West Hills Road.
Walt Whitman High School.
Hills Road and Jericho Turnpike.
And do you know how much the membership is?
Well, I think it's like $99 to start and $30 a month, $29.99 a month. You could pay a little bit more if you want to be able to go to any other LA Fitness on the island. You pay a little bit more every month just to be able to have that amenity. But they work with you. You could maybe work them. I don't know.
But they have a pool. That's nice.
It's a really nice pool. It's awesome. It's clean. They have a lifeguard on duty, and it's nice. I love it. So come on down Tuesday, Thursday, Water Fit. And you guys are invited as soon as you're ready.
You know what it is that we live in the Northeast region, so summer comes after we've just come out of all this winter and stuff, and we really want to make it count. So I think everybody just climbs into their own little personal holes of where they're going to dig their own hole in the sand and stay there, until they're sunburned to a crisp or whatever they can do. Weather turns nice. You want to be out. But speaking of pools, Dana, you want to do the honor of putting out a pool warning? We gotta watch our kids. No, I mean.
Oh, you mean with the toddlers?
Yeah.
Oh,
what did you think?
I thought you were talking about with Lisa. I was like, what? No, I don't even know anything about that.
No. I mean, it's this time of year. In fact, we just had you give the warning and I'll find the article, but we recently did have another toddler in Dix Hills. I don't know the status of the little girl. I think it was a little girl.
It's non-responsive, but
she was found non-responsive in the pool. And as someone who still has, I mean, I don't have little guys, but I have a 7-year-old and I have a 10-year-old. And the 7-year-old is very daring. And I've watched them in the pools and I've watched them climb on things. I would just say, I think the warning is watch your children closely. And even if they could swim, you still need to watch them because they do silly things in the pool or they might hit their head or whatever the case may be. So you should be on, of course, heightened alert. It's the summer. And kids just do the weirdest things.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't realize the severity. They don't have a sense of danger.
Mm-hmm.
So don't think that you could run inside for a quick second and answer a call or do something or grab something, because that split second can make a big difference.
Yep.
So we did have a little girl, and every year we have quite a few drownings.
Oh, last year it was the twins.
Yeah, it's just we have to be more cautious in what we're doing and why we're doing it, to prevent these awful accidents from happening. I mean, it's nice to have a pool.
Yeah.
The luxury, and we don't have an excess of pools in our town. That's another story. But you still have to be mindful of that luxury. What were you going to say about that?
I think we should touch on that. I think we should talk about the lack of pools and why we have a lack of pool. We're always told to go to the Dix Hills pool, but you can pay to get in, you pay for your this and pay for your town rec card, and the camps are using it.
Now, if you don't have a town rec card, can you still get into the pool?
Nope.
No, you have to have a rec card.
And how
you
much
have to be able to get into the water park either, the splash park tomorrow, without a rec card.
That opens tomorrow, right?
That's tomorrow, the 11th.
And how much is the rec? And how much is the rec card?
I think it depends.
I don't know. I haven't gotten one in a long time, and I don't even remember. That's how long it's been.
Yeah, mine is useless when I get it. I pay for the rec card, and then you still have to pay. Like I had to pay for the rec card to then pay for. They offer all these town programs, but for the summer for different things. But in order to take the town program, you have to get the rec card, have the kid take the picture and everything else. And I found like if I wanted to use the pool, great. But once you went there, you found out that you couldn't even get in the pool. It was really bad.
Wow. I'm trying to just find out how much it is. But depending on the price, okay, getting back to the first thing you said, I remember when my children did go to summer camp, they did utilize the pool. And if I'm not mistaken, I also believe that there are buses from the town that take children, I think from like the Tri-CYA and other places to the pool, if I'm not mistaken. I recall hearing something about that. So, I mean, the pool is not ginormous.
No.
You know, so how is it going to? Okay, so the fees for the rec card. Oh no, that's just the ID card. Because it's saying that it's $20, right? Adults is $20 for 2 years. Resident seniors is $10 for 2 years. Disabled, $10 for 2 years. Teens, $10 for 2 years. Lost card replacement is $5. Crab Meadow golf card, $30 for 1 year. Crab Meadow golf card, $45 for 2 years. So it's not that bad.
No, it's not. It's the reason.
Unless you want to, do you need a bag, ma'am, to put that in? That'll be another 5 cents.
What? But here's my thing. If we pay taxes, why do we need to pay to get into a pool?
Why?
And why don't they have a separation, a pool solely for the camps and then solely for other residents? Because you figure when you go to camp, everybody wants to get in the pool. So why wouldn't we want to do that? Exactly. I've always been confused as to why we don't have those things like that. And it's not like we don't have the space, because I went by to see the Dix Hills pool. I mean, I've seen larger pools, but I've never gone there myself personally. But I hear that it can be a bit crowded.
Yeah, sure. Especially on a
beautiful it's because the camps, and you know, I think that you've heard me say this before, every school district within the town, we should have, not with it, but because that would mean 8. There should be somewhere, find a pool area for each school district within a town with a small, sprinkler pad. I don't know why we're settling for this one sprinkler pad that we waited for. And we went, Lisa, you and I went over this on the last show. We talked about all the sprinkler pad, how the sprinkler pad came to be,
right?
And the history that was behind that with the Elwood taxpayers, all that stuff that went on with their housing project and why they were given that as their thing.
Right.
But we still have. I just have a problem with we always have to pay for something. We got to pay for parking. We have to pay for the rec card. Then we have to pay for whatever other fees that we may get, a $25 fee if you don't do the meter in enough time. And why does the meter have to be like rocket science? I mean, once I did it the first time, I got it down. But I've seen people at that meter for like 10 minutes trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah, I see that all the time.
I'm like, well, bad enough we have to pay, and then you have to be extra complicated. And then if you run out of time, the fine is $25.
And I've been hearing a lot that a lot of them are broken, and you have to go find one that actually works because they're not even working.
Well, I went to this place called the Hatch in Huntington Village.
Oh, you went?
I went to the Hatch, and we parked. I was actually there for lunch, and we parked the car, and I guess we ran out of time. But when we were coming in, you see this little, well, not little, but you see this young man. He's walking around giving people tickets. He has a thing in his hand. It's hot as all be damned out there, and he's still walking around. So it's almost like they want you just to bleed you dry. That's the envision I got. I mean, you know, if we live here and we're patronizing business here, why do we have to pay to park here? And the restaurants down there aren't cheap.
No, they're not.
They're not cheap at all. I mean, I've never had eggs that cost $13 except for at that place in Toast, but that's another show.
How was Hatch?
Hatch was good. It wasn't anything spectacular. I mean, I would go back again, but I think you pay more for the ambiance than you pay for the actual food, because it wasn't something like when I ate there, I wasn't running to write home about it. And I don't like overly complicated menus like brioche roll flown in from Cambodia. What? Is it bread? Just tell me it's bread. That's it. Bread and eggs. I don't need all the extra stuff. So maybe I'll visit it again and try something else.
This is the second time this week I've heard the word Cambodia. I haven't heard it in forever. This week it's just been one of those words.
Oh gosh, I always use Cambodia because it's like that's like the furthest place that I could think of offhand. Like, so it's supposed to be that much better because it came from Cambodia.
Well, you know, less population, cleaner water. So your salmon is going to be amazing from there, in spite of all the poor suffering children.
I know it's not. I know it's not Huntington, but I know where you all breathed a sigh of relief about those 12 boys and their coach in Thailand.
Yes,
that was a miracle.
That was crazy.
Absolute miracle.
Didn't you get to the point where you're like, they've been down there since June 23rd and we're letting off fireworks? Like,
yeah,
you know,
I don't think
17 days. They're in. Oh, I can't even. So scary. So upsetting.
I saw a map of the tunnel where they. First of all, why were they in there?
Well, so they went in on it, you know, when they go out and they were with their cook. The monsoon came, so the waters rose, so they weren't able to get through the thing again.
But why were they going in there?
I don't know. I wonder if they got lost. I know, because when you watch the video, and I think some people, it kind of gives you the heebie-jeebies, right? Trying to even think about what they were going through to get these kids as well. I'm going to try to find it on my page.
I wasn't sure if they went in there on purpose when the water started to rise, or if the water rising put them in there.
Yeah, the monsoon came.
Sure.
Because if you look at the distance and where they were at, it's very large.
Look, I have all that. Hold on.
If the water rising put
Is
them
that
in
you?
there.
Yeah, the monsoon came. Whoa, we got to repeat it.
If you look at the distance and where they were at. Oh, I hate hearing myself talk.
Me too. I do too.
How do you think I feel? I get tortured when I have to come and I have to play this the next day in the morning, which means I have to play it and screen share. So I get to hear us all over again, and all of our mistakes and everything else that goes with it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
And when you were talking about fireworks, those are.
Wait.
Oh, you found it? Okay.
Got me on this one with the other thing. So let's this one, right?
Okay.
Is that the one? Can you see it, or?
Okay. I can see when they're coming out of it.
Oh. So loud.
I thought that person was dead.
I know.
So those kids are wrapped inside of those bags.
I would hyperventilate.
It's incredible. Where is his head?
Up at the top.
It's so tight, and I this whole thing, it just, even thinking of looking at it gives me the heebie. I'll show you the tunnel instead of walking us through the whole video. Whoop.
It really is a miracle that they all lived.
That's them coming through it.
But so very sad.
And then that's the tunnel.
One Navy SEAL died trying to get them.
I would even feel weird being in it. Like, I would have been having a panic attack, but finally glad to be out of the cave, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. First of all, when you dive, it's you have to be in control yourself. So I couldn't see myself trying to do all that with controlling another person. That's a lot. That's a lot.
It really is.
That's a whole lot.
Yep, I'm just keeping it together. His name was Salman Gunnan, the Thai Navy SEAL that died making sure the kids stuck in the cave had enough oxygen so that the rescue this week could even be possible.
That's so crazy. And what do you tell their parents? You know, they went out for a trip, but they may not be coming home. What?
Yeah.
It's a miracle, all right.
And then you saw all those. It was a lot. It was a lot. Mm-hmm. Just something I just was like, oh wow. But I'm glad everyone got out.
Oh, hey. So since we did miss the 4th of July, but we're still apparently on the 4th of July because I know I still hear the fireworks. But since we missed the 4th of July, did you guys all catch that thread on that Facebook page where stop with the fireworks? But it was on the day of 4th of July. And I have to say, we didn't even have to go anywhere this year. There was fireworks everywhere. They were all you had to do was go outside.
I don't usually complain because I think, you celebrate. The problem I have is like this Saturday when we were all asleep, it's like 9:30 and, you let off a firecracker or whatever it is is powerful enough to, rattle a house. I have a problem with that. Mm-hmm. I have a problem with that. My poor mother was like, oh my God, are we being bombed? Now she called me to ask me, are we being bombed? I'm like, Mom, you should have came downstairs if you thought we were being bombed, not call. But she thought that something was going on. And this is Saturday. Come on, have your fun. But after a while, enough is enough.
You know what, though? Remember what used to be a trend and it isn't anymore? What? Is it gunfire or fireworks?
Right.
Now at least you thought we were being bombed because that's more of a possibility than people out there blowing caps in the air or at each other.
That's true. Very true.
Remember when it used to be the summer of helicopters?
What was that?
All
that
the
was
time.
2 years ago. 2-3 years ago.
It wasn't that long ago. And it was, oh my goodness, I used to share it all the time. I'd be like, are you kidding me? There's helicopters just circling over here over and over and over again because they were always looking for somebody.
Yeah,
and it was, and then we got Shot Spotter.
Yeah.
Well, and then we got Shot Spotter because of all that.
I remember that. I remember one incident where 2, I think, women broke into someone's house closer by you and I, Lisa, and the helicopters were so low that you thought that they were landing on your house. That was scary. I remember that one because it was all over. I think it might have been Huntington Matters or something like that because we all were talking about it. I'm grateful we don't have that summer again. Again, I don't care about the fireworks on the 4th of July. Heck, I don't care about the day later, but the weekend, enough.
Days before, week before, 2 weeks before, and now still after. Yeah, then you start to have a problem because
literally
you don't complain on the day of because then you're going to just get everybody.
It's literally written in our Constitution that's how we're supposed to celebrate, even though we're totally restricted here in the state of New York. But how do you think the dispatchers are taking it? How many people, I was going to use the other word, do you think are actually calling? My neighbor is letting off fireworks. It's the 4th. Can you send a unit? How many phone calls do you think they get? And they're like, we just can't be bothered tonight. Not tonight.
Yeah.
I could imagine. I could only imagine. I really could. But then you know what? Let me be I took a break from social media. You guys know I wasn't here last thing. I had a death in my family, so we were just really trying to pull things together. So I took a break from social media. But then when I came back and I got it together, I went on one of those pages and people were arguing, trying to find out how to call somebody if somebody's shrubs aren't cut properly, if somebody's fence is down. Now, we just had now there's a daycare right up the block from me called Work of Heart. Their fences were down we had a horrible winter. So you mean to tell me during the course of your day, the only thing you could complain about is your neighbors or businesses' fence being down? You don't have anything else to complain about? So then I realized.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's like, come on. So I think I'm no longer surprised that people just complain about everything. Doesn't matter what it is. So I'm not surprised, but really, I'm sure the dispatches have wonderful stories.
Oh my God. Well, I can only imagine they sit down that night and they're probably like, okay, so we'll kind of place them. We're just going to respond to the people who almost blew themselves up.
How about that?
We'll respond to them, but the people who are tattling on their neighbors will be like, all right, we'll be there, but maybe tomorrow, because we got to deal with the other people who they're missing a finger now.
How about that?
Or, like it actually fell down and shot into their delivery group.
Now we have a fire.
Because that stuff happens.
Yes, it does.
You've got adults that have been drinking all day, and all of a sudden they're playing with pyrotechnics.
No, you're laughing. It's true. I saw this video where a little boy, he and his friend put like a rocket firecracker in his butt.
I saw that too. What about the guy who put it like right on his nigga and it go like, come on.
What's that called? A thingy.
That thingy, whatever you want to call it. But he puts it right in the area where it really shouldn't be.
I saw that.
Because it's a greater extension of what that young man felt he should have been. But by the end of the night, he ended up with something much smaller. You've seen it. We've all seen the videos where they are crazy. What a hoot! It's Darwin's law,
I was just when I see things like that, I'm just like, why? Why do you do that? And then the boy's butt was like burnt, and he was like, "Ow!" And I'm like, "What you thought was gonna happen?"
Yeah, and they used like the butt crack as the launch area to put the. You saw? Yes, I saw the same one. Like when you're putting and you're playing golf and you got to put the tee in the grass. Yeah. They put it in the plumber crack to get it a really nice. Oh, that was awful.
That was funny.
There's one that's old. There's one viral video that went out. It's a long time ago. It's very old, but where the little Dachshund has the firecracker in his mouth and it starts to shoot off. So he's running and it's going
shooting at other people,
shooting it at people.
Oh my God!
Hilarious.
Yeah, and that's another thing I think a lot of people get upset about. The vets with the post-traumatic stress disorder, but the dogs also. Yeah. My dog swears we're under attack, and she just needs to protect us.
She does.
I have one dog that doesn't really care. He'll let off a little, if the closer they are, if we can feel it, on our feet, if we can feel that vibration, he'll let off a couple of barks. But my corgi, oh my God, my poor thing. She shakes violently. She won't leave my side. I have to put out a pee pad because she will not go outside. I can't get her out there. It's so sad. So sad. And she pants and she'll just pant for hours. She's so scared.
Dina.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
That's so sad. She's laughing. Oh my God.
This is a really bad time to segue into the animal abuse that we were.
Jenny, what the hell? Shit.
Oh my God.
We could have find something else to talk about.
You want to talk about my week? Let's talk about my week, all right? Then we can talk about the other stuff.
Okay. I wasn't laughing at the dogs. Don't get me
I know
wrong.
you were.
I know you were, and you got the giggles. I know you were.
It's just when you said that, it reminded me of Blake because he freaks out, and I never seen a kid react like that in my life. Like he takes flight and he won't do anything. He won't go anywhere.
Aw.
So when you said that, I was remembering.
Yeah, but you won't let them go to bed until they find the spider. So,
Don't play that up in here.
No.
Hit it right the first time, or we're gonna be up till you find it. And I let them go to bed eventually. It just wasn't when they wanted to.
My
And
God.
they found them. All right, so let's talk about the what is it? The
Garden of Eden.
Garden of Eden. Oh.
Garden of Eve.
Eve.
Garden of
I
Eve.
know. I think Lisa was calling it the Garden of Evil. I never wanted to hurt this business. I have to say, we went out east to Lavender Bay. Lavender Bay, there was something we wanted to do, but we got late in the season, so we weren't able to go. Thank God, or you guys would have been dragged down into this thing with me too, because it was going to happen. Because for whatever reason, when God has an intention with me, it comes.
Mm-hmm.
So my daughter saw it. It's at a main road. And she saw this really, really great, they have like silo cages, the turkeys. And the turkeys. And we're like, okay, check mark, maybe on the way back. Everywhere out east, it was 4th of July, was just packed.
Mm-hmm.
Lavender on the Bay was packed. It was beautiful. I'm going to make some lavender cookies this week and some lavender iced tea, lemonade. But even the park, we turned around from the parks because we weren't able to get in at all. There was a line all the way out. All the other farms that we passed were also busy. But after we had this lovely lunch and walked around a little bit up in close to Orient Point.
Cutchogue?
No, not at all. So then we came back and John remembered, let me stop there with Vivian, let her take her pictures. And next thing you know, we'd walked into what I was referring to as like a Stephen King novel. It took us a little while to like realize our surroundings. There was a little sign there. There was no one there compared to like everywhere else that we had been. And, first we see the turkeys and they're all puffing up. And I'm telling my girl, they're preening for you, not realizing they're hot. And it was a really, really hot day. And then the goats, they were making a lot of noise. And so my husband said, "Oh, Jen, look, they have chickens." I turned around. I didn't see any chickens because they were all hidden under this pile of weeds, which I found really strange because in a chicken run, you would normally have nothing. They would have scratched it all out. So it was just really crazy. And I look and we realize all their mouths are open and panting and look and there's ducks over here and ducks have no water, but there was a hose. So we grab it, we let it start running out and doing its thing, get all the hot water out because we didn't want to give them the hot water, and spray them down, fill the water up. And we saw a dead chicken in the run when we were there. So at that point, we felt that we needed to alert the owners. And we went in and there was no owners. There was only a 15-year-old young man. I won't say his name because he's a minor. Who was there, and he was very frazzled. Come to find out, he had only been there for a week. And I had told him, I said, "Listen, your animals out there, they're suffering. They're dying. They have no water. We just filled up the chickens and the ducks, but there was no bowls for the goats. So, and the turkey was in a different type of container, so we couldn't help with that. But there was also this odor, which, you know the odor of dead once you've smelled it. So he goes, "Okay, I'll tell somebody." I didn't feel comfortable that I just left and there was no adult to tell. So we called the ASPCA and they were off, got a recording, left no message because they were closed, and I called 911. And the lesson I learned is when you call 911, stay. Yeah. Because the story rapidly changed. 3 times on one end, 2 times on another end. So the police story changed. Because the police report that I ended up getting. So anyways, I'm leaving and I'm furious after what I had just seen. So I go to my social media page and, I post most of my things public because people do share them. And I had said, this is what I just saw. I gave a review and I took it and I copied it and I put it on their Facebook page as a 1-star review. So I gave a public review. And next thing you know, all hell broke loose. I had never been somebody who had been, I don't want to say I'm a victim because, listen, I put myself out there, so I'm not victim, but I guess I can see how this happens to people through social media. And I learned so much out of it about, people just they assume the worst of anybody. You know, that through this whole thing, I never wanted to hurt this farm or this family, but the more they started sending people, so they go to their Facebook page, they put me on blast. Next thing you know, all the people who follow so they made a bigger deal out of it, because up until then, everybody who had liked their page didn't really know about it. So if they would have just said, you know, our animals in our farm are number one priority. You know, thank you for blah, 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 stopping by. We appreciate our customers. We've worked to fix this and we'll continue to make improvements. Something that simple. It would have been better. But what they did is they started harassing me. And the mother-in-law of the garden people who own the place, and just crazy stuff. So now you're forcing me to look into you. So I find out the kid's 15. He's not old enough to work on the farm. You don't have the business license. Can I tell you, we're almost a week in?
Yeah.
I was still getting inboxes last night threatening me.
Wow.
Threatening
What did they
me.
say?
Well, they're pretty much, my favorite one is how they're going to sue me for slander. That's a fun one, because slander is what I say. So I guess, I hope they're watching. Maybe they can get me on slander. But
Is it true?
no, because your rights to give negative reviews are protected. It's a federally protected law under the Federal Trade Commission for consumers. Can you imagine if every time you gave a review that the owner didn't like, that they came after you online? Can you think about it? I mean, think about that. Think about how many times you've given a mediocre review. Okay, here, not to get it, I always say we like to keep it local, but what happened recently with our press secretary, Sarah Sanders, and the Red Hen Facebook page,
Right.
However, there was like a battle of 5-star reviews versus 1-star reviews.
Right.
What can you even imagine if the owners of Red Hen had come after everybody over? So I don't know if this was her first 1-star, because she took the whole review function down and then took it to another update. And it's interesting because, I mean, honestly, I just wanted these animals to get water. It's just, they didn't have water. It was a hot day. And then all hell broke loose. And then we come back and then we start reading the story of the Golden Dolphin owner. Do you remember?
That was the next day, wasn't it?
I think it was the next day. And I'm like, wow, I hope nobody gave them a bad review, because.
But they said that dog was being starved. And I can't understand, if you own a restaurant, I'm sure you have, because I've done it plenty of times.
You have what's called a doggy bag?
Yeah.
Couldn't give the dog a doggy bag? Oh, my God.
You have enough scraps left over to feed your dog at best. I mean, I don't know much about animals, but I'm sure you have something to give him. There's no reason for him to be starving.
I've got this one. Here's that. How's that?
Oh.
Boom. The Golden Dolphin owner accused of starving dog. His dog, Callie, was found to be underweight, suffering from an ear infection, and lacking veterinary care, the SPCA says.
That's very sad.
Very sad.
Very sad. Animals are defenseless.
Yep. And, you know, and to go back to the Garden of Eve, for days and days and days of comments, the general consensus of all of those comments were, poor owner, poor owner, poor owner. She's such a nice person. It's such a beautiful farm. Nobody really gave 2 craps that those animals had no water. They really didn't. Nobody ever said. I never saw one comment that said, oh, I'm so sorry, you know, please rectify the situation and just put some water out. You know,
well, there were many people, because you got to remember too, what happens is when there's a pile on to the whistleblower, in this case, me, I'm the witness, right? So I'm the witness. I saw something and I said something. Now, whatever happens after the police gets there or whatever else, I have an obligation as a citizen that if I see something that looks bad, that I should report it regardless of the outcome. Okay. You deter other people from reporting possibilities that could have been. I swear, on the way back home, I had said to my husband that what if it was the owners that were rotting in the back, because there was nobody else there. We didn't know what the situation was. But it's not my job as a citizen to start trespassing on the property to find out where the smell's coming from or where the owner is. It's really not. So we do deter other people who may come forward. So I'd rather the police go and check and find nothing than the police don't check, and 3 weeks later there's a report that the owners were missing and they were found rotting in the back, and the animals were all dead from lack of care. You don't know how it's going to turn out in the beginning when you make that phone call. You just instinctively say, my gut is telling me something is wrong. I have an obligation to feel that I have to report it, so I'm going to. So come to find out, the police report said that they arrived and they found no dead animals, nothing everywhere. And it's interesting because the owners of the Garden of Eve are putting this up like this is some sort of, they're vindicated of this. But there's an article out there from Riverhead Local that goes on to describe, and it's quoted from the police chief, the guy who's in charge of those people making those police reports, that the police chief says, oh, well, you know, we went there and we found no dead animals except for this rotting chicken, right? So I'm like, okay, so you found no dead animals except for this one dead animal. So and everybody made it about the dead chicken. We didn't find the chicken, we did. And I even got accused of loving chickens more than children. And I was called a city slicker. And it was about the animals not having any water. And that was missing out of the police report. But what was very telling that was in the police report was I was the person who made the call, so my name was there. And the only respondent that was there was this 15-year-old minor. So they were yelling at me saying when I went to ask for the owner, I should have known enough, since they didn't employ the proper help, that I should have then pursued him to ask for a supervisor or a manager. When the 4 police cops came, the 15-year-old kid was the only person there in charge of this 55-acre farm. So that there tells me they had scheduled, it was a holiday. Everybody else was packed. So they have issues with their own management. They obviously have some things that they had to hide and that we had uncovered. And my intent was never to hurt this farm. I love farmers. I support farmers. I have a love for it myself. But the way that they reacted was more telling than anything else could have been.
Oh, yeah.
I would agree. I mean, most people, if that wasn't the case, they would have simply just stated, you know, like you said, I'm sorry that you had that experience. That's not our policy. We'll definitely look into it. That's all that other back and forth that just shows me that you're hiding something. And
deflection. It's called deflection.
Yeah, I don't like that. And then when you tell me we didn't find any dead animals except for one chicken. Wait a minute. You just said you didn't find any, but one chicken? To me, I would be like, what? And how much does a 15-year-old kid really know to report to the police? Well, they probably, you know, finagled and made him say what they wanted to say.
Well, so my daughter is 15 now and wants to get a job. She wanted to work in Petco. Well, she can't because you have to be 18 to work on a farm or with animals or in a pet store. You have to be 18. So he should have never been left alone. And then there was some random guy with a fake profile, fake name, everything else saying, I saw you. He comes, everybody just came on my wall and in my inbox, and then they were looking me up and, she does this all the time because she did this once to Dunkin' Donuts in 2011. And I did. The guy at Dunkin' Donuts was telling everyone that they couldn't park in the parking lot. So I gave him a bad review. So I do it all the time because I did it 7 years ago. You know, they go and they start taking screenshots of whatever they can on your Facebook page to paint you a certain way, or they go and they dig into your past. And I was like, wow, that's all they found. Maybe I should give them something. I felt bad.
No, let them find whatever they want to find on their own. Yeah. And again, the issue should have just been resolved 1, 2, 3. We're sorry that happened. We'll look into it.
Yes.
Case closed. All that other stuff is just unnecessary.
And I had already filled up the water. So what did the police find when they got there?
Water.
Right. Because I did the wrong thing. The right thing to do, according to everybody else, is instead of stopping to help the animals, I should have grabbed my phone and I should have just been recording them die as they're dying and suffering. I should have not filled up the water and I should not have done anything. Nothing. That's the world according to what I got. I should have done nothing. It was none of my business. I'm a nosy city slicker.
Well, according to a lot of those comments, is farm life is hard and animals die. Oh my God, get over it, city slicker.
I know that was they called us cityots.
City slickers and some other ugly names. Yeah, I saw.
I love the one who was her profile badge was resist hate or disarm hate. I think it was disarm hate. She was relentless on my face, but she was very hateful.
Yeah. Well, you were getting nasty messages saying, "Oh my God, you're going to be sued. I hope they take you to court. You mess with the wrong farmers."
Yeah.
Oh my God, they were crazy.
Sue somebody for speaking the truth.
Crazies.
The only thing I do agree with the people is that you should have taken some pictures. I'm surprised you didn't because
no, I have pictures. No. I want you to know. So here's what happened. I was in not rescue mode, but when you realize what's going on, I said, oh my God, okay, there's the water. Let me fill the water. Let me do this. Holy shit. Let me go get the owner. So I didn't take any pictures because my intention wasn't to get videographed proof to hurt the farm. That proves where my intent was.
Right.
The kids got pictures. While I was busy doing everything else. That's why I have to upload them and get them over to where they were supposed to be. I've been slacking on that because I've been so busy taking the onslaught of verbal abuse and hate, which I'm just batting it out like we're in a badminton thing. I'm like, nope, he is the truth. Nope, you're wrong. Sorry. I'm standing my ground. I'm not backing down with it because I know what I saw. And you know who else knew what they saw? My children.
Yep. Well, I mean, if you have pictures, I mean, you don't really have to defend yourself with so much. But people are always so eager to sue. But you have to understand there are requirements to sue. If you have a dead animal and I report that you have a dead animal, I'm reporting cruelty to animals. You can't sue me for that.
Exactly.
I mean, if the animals didn't have water, you can't call it slander because you didn't make it up.
Right.
It's true. And a 55-acre farm. Why is there a 15-year-old there? And why didn't he fill up the water?
Right.
What was he doing there?
Find out their business license is expired. Come to find out.
And is this an open farm that anyone can go on?
Well, it's like one of those farm stands at the end when you go out, and it looks beautiful from the outside. Why do you think we stopped?
But what I'm asking is,
I was going to buy sunflowers. Huh?
Right. That means anybody could walk around, right?
Yes.
So people have to get on the mindset of it's not Sue Happy America. So let's just.
No, that's the language people speak now, especially, I think when people say things to you in a certain way, like them trying to frame me, they said I know nothing about chickens, that I know nothing about farming or farm life, that I'm a cityot. I'm from the South. I have chickens. So, I mean, they couldn't have been further from the truth, but their description of me told me more about their mindset and where they were coming from and how they judge people from the city. It doesn't mean that's just because they say it about me doesn't mean it's true. It gives me a mirror into their way of thinking.
No, that's true. That's 100% true.
Yep.
And anybody that calls you a city slicker definitely does not know you, because I think you're probably one of the few people that I know that actually go out in the garden and do all kind of weird stuff. Like who tapes the rabbits?
Well, I needed to know I needed to know which hole the babies were in so that I could warn the landscapers. Now there was 2 holes. So this week, have you noticed we have so many rabbits and so many fireflies?
Well,
yes, there's so many more fireflies.
So many more fireflies. It is lit up this summer already. But now the population's growing, so we're having a lot more rabbits. So the first one I saw was and I got worried because you can't be bringing your big lawnmower over the babies, So I had to stalk them to find out if she was transporting them or what she did, because then all of a sudden there was another nest in the garden, right in the middle of the lettuce. Like she plopped herself right in the middle of the grocery store with her children.
Yep, she did that on purpose.
She did. I know she did.
Now, what city slicker knows all of that? Just let me know. Which one? Because I could definitely be a city slicker. Which one knows all of that? Can you tell me that? Anybody? No? Okay. So
yeah.
We did the right thing.
You should never cast judgment on people because it doesn't say anything about those people. All it does is say exactly your way of thinking about somebody that you know nothing about.
Yeah. Yeah. And you did the right thing. I mean, you don't have to be a farmer to know that if an animal needs water, fill up the water bowl.
No, just to reiterate though, if my intention, because they kept saying I had some sort of personal beef, I did not know the owners before that day. But if I did have a personal beef, I wouldn't have bothered to fill up the water.
No.
And I would have recorded the whole thing. And then I would have put them on blast with full documented evidence and pictures of dead animals. That's what I would have done if my intention was to hurt them. But that was never my intention. My intention was to stop there and take pictures of their turkeys and leave with some sunflowers. That's what my intention was.
Well, I guess they'll learn their lesson. I saw a program where this guy, he got a sunflower, he cut it, and then he opened it, but he was eating the seeds. Is that where sunflower seeds really come from?
Yes. Those are sunflower seeds because they're on a sunflower.
Oh my God, I'm dragging you.
You are a city slicker. You really are.
Wow.
I watched the whole thing. I was in
they come from Stop and Shop, pre-seasoned.
Yes. I you know what? I thought I didn't know where they came from. I'm being very honest.
Oh my God.
So I watched the whole thing. Like he cut it down, he put it down, then he put it in a pot, he put some stuff on it, sprinkles. I was like, oh, that looks so good. I wonder if I could do that. I mean, I would never.
The base of the sunflower, which we've got the mammoth ones, they can get to be like 15 feet tall. I just planted those this week because every time I would put them out there, my sunflower seed was getting eaten by birds.
Oh.
Or that rabbit was eating all those stalks. And so I started stalking her to find out how. So anyways, we got the big ones out there now. The face of that sunflower is all the tops of the seeds. And as it dries out, so you can get like 400 or 500 seeds out of one big head. Oh, yep. Dana, I'm going to save you one this year. I'm going to bring it over and plop it on your porch and show you how to salt it and roast it.
Yep. Dana, the reason I don't plant my mammoth, and they're like, like that big.
Huge.
I used to plant those in the front of the house in that box area. I used to plant them there all the time until one year they were growing so big, and we planted those because we wanted the seeds. And somebody had drove by, snipped them, and stole all the heads and stole every single one of them. So now they're elsewhere in my yard. They're not. I don't plant them in my front anymore. So, and then we have some of the seeds, and I share the rest of them with I'll put it right on the table, and the squirrels will eat them.
Here, these are some of our actual, oh, wait, where am I with you? Get off of there, right? This is, okay. So do you see each one of these flowers?
Yes.
And that's the pollen, and the bees take them. But
Okay.
each one of these little flowers, after all the pollen is gone in it and the bees eat it up, they turn into seeds. Oh, sorry. I got that up. Oh, no. Whatever. It's not like we don't know. But
This whole seeds.
It's all seeds.
I love them.
All seeds. I wish I could find the picture of John, but because it shows him pointing at it, showing how tall up it was. It was like 15 feet up.
I never knew that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try it one day. I'm lying.
And these are the delphiniums he just brought home.
Those were cute. I saw those. Those are cute.
They're so beautiful. Oh, and that reminds me, Oakwood Garden, everyone was saying that they're closing down. They're not. Go give them their business. They've got 2 for $1 on the delphiniums right now. They have so many other things.
2 for $20. And if you buy 4 perennials, you get 1 free.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere. They're not closing up shop. And they said they were going to put houses there. They said they're just, you know how like sometimes when adults, you take care of your 401k and your future, and sometimes you'll buy your own plot for when you're going to die. It doesn't mean you're going to die tomorrow. It just means that you're securing a plan for when you do, right? So they're securing a plan for what they want to do in the future when it happens based upon where they're at now. But they're still in business. They're still doing their thing. Nobody should stop going there. They're a great nursery.
Yeah.
Oakwood Road over in Huntington Station. Great nursery.
It was the first time I went there. And it is absolutely gorgeous.
Did you see all the animals in the back?
Oh, unbelievable. Unbelievable. First time I ever went there. I had no idea.
Dina, you got to take Blake. You go in, and they got all the flowers in the front, but if you go a little further into the back, they have a beautiful group of animals that are well taken care of and all have water.
He might have to go with Auntie Jenny for that, because Mom ain't going to see no animals. You can forget that.
Yeah, drop him off with me. I'll take him.
I will be out of there. What if things get loose or try to get something?
We got to get you out of your city slickerness.
Yeah,
no, I like it. No, I like it. I like the city slickerness. The chipmunks is as far as I'm willing to go. That's it.
God,
I can't. I tried, but I can't.
We can't go catch fireflies together,
Lisa.
They're magical, Dana. They're magical. You can scoop them, and then
scoop them up, and then they light up. Woo woo!
We will change your life.
What?
Yes.
We'll put them in your hair, and then your hair will light up. It's so cute.
If anything gets in my hair, man, listen, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
All right. Well, we're getting close down to our last 10 minutes. Do you want to touch on the upcoming elections, even though we normally don't heat up with the elections until we go into September? But we want to still bring awareness until we get there. Also, we're going to be going on a summer hiatus. I know that we were off. Dana already told everybody they had a death in the family. So we took 2 weeks off. We do have some stuff that we've been doing in the background that we're going to put up for everyone, but we're going to be down for the month of August. Then we're going to come back with season 3 of Be the Media. Woo! But until then, because we started mostly over Huntington politics, you want to tell everyone what seats are open? Because everybody's just focused on midterms. They're not even thinking about what's going on in town for the most part.
No, they're not, and they should be, because we have one seat that's open, and so far, my understanding, it is either Jim Leonick, which is a Republican, and Joan Sergel, who was appointed. She's a Democrat. Then we also have the receiver of taxes. The current person that holds it is Jill Guthman, and her opponent will be Janet Cimitelli. So
that's a familiar name.
Very familiar. This election will be just as critical as the last one, because now we are definitely running the possibility of having an all-male board, with the majority of it being Republican. So if the tax receiver changes, it'll be a Republican tax receiver as well. So this election, people should pay attention to. It has some serious consequences behind it. And if we don't pay attention to that and get our hands on it, we might be facing some hard times. Because then you want to talk about separation. When you talk about diversity, people automatically think of color. No, when you talk about diversity, that includes income, social class, everything. And I just don't see them delegating fairly to everyone in town. That's just how I see it. So it is a fairly serious election coming up, and they've already started doing their little campaigns. So we'll have a lot to cover and a lot of information to get out. So I hope we get. What the hell is that? What is that?
Firefly.
Girl, you have to get the fly.
It just reads inside my house.
Oh my God.
He is. He's on my painting.
They're everywhere. They're all over the place.
So many.
I brought one in. I brought one in last night on my shirt.
Yeah, they're just all over the
No.
I'm going to reserve my comments on the elections for a little bit. I'm going to wait until we come back with season 3 to talk about that. But I know that we'll be covering them heavily. We'll be touching on the midterms as well, even though that's not Huntington. We want to make sure everybody knows how we play into the midterm elections for 2018 on a national basis. But
and hopefully when we come back in September, we can allocate at least half of a show to explain to people what role each person actually plays in the town, like the supervisor, the deputy, the chief of staff, all those things. We need to explain to people so they have an understanding of how the flow is supposed to go. I think that would be an excellent idea. Mm-hmm. And we can merge in the national stuff as well and explain to people how it will affect them.
I'd like to have Kathy back or Mary back too, and bring them in, some new fresh faces to help us touch on, because Kathy is fabulous when it comes to the state stuff.
Yeah.
So is Mary. Mary really knows her stuff in regards.
I like Mary a lot. She's very informative. And I definitely like her style. And I like Kathy too.
I like keeping the whole theme that we're always all women, even though we talk a lot about diversity.
Well, we have diversity.
I was going to say Finley's a boy, but she's not. She's a girl too. She's always on the show.
We'll put John on the show a few times, and we'll have all the diversity we need.
Yeah, he's really good when it comes to. I always said that we need to interview him in regards to cesspools and sewers and stuff.
We should.
He really, really knows his stuff in regards to that. Especially since the new cesspool law goes into effect at the end of the month.
That's really important.
It's really important. Like now that I'm like, oh my God, like a whole new people. Yeah, we should have the husband on. I think I would enjoy it too.
Mm-hmm. I would enjoy it. He has a lot. Has a lot of information.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people don't know about it.
Yeah, everybody always thinks he's so quiet. He's not, because I know him, but he's really, really smart, super intelligent, especially I swear he's an artist when it comes to opening the earth, putting things in and putting it back. He's an artist, because he'll come to your house and your sidewalk's still intact and you can't even he does a very good job. I'm proud of my husband. I'm proud of what he does.
And he's super cool.
He is.
Yeah. He's super cool. I love John. He's definitely down to earth. He always cracks me up, and he has a lot of information, and he explains it so everyone can understand.
Yeah.
So we should definitely have John on.
That would be fun. He would be our first male, right? Yeah, we've only had a few interviews we've never had a male guest, but it's different because he's my husband. So really, he's not a guest.
But he's a guest. We'll treat him like one.
Honey, I need some filler. You're right. We will. We'll treat him like an honored guest.
Yeah.
Okay. Other than that, we have a special coming up for everyone. Oh, you know what I should do? I should get Lisa. I should just end it and give everyone a little taste of what we were doing, right?
Okay.
We've actually been filming for 2 months.
Yeah.
At the Soldiers and Sailors Museum.
Yes.
To put together this really great thing for everyone. But what was the last one that I did? Let me just find this real quick.
So we're here, Rep.
Oh, yeah. What? Yeah, we are here. I'm going to give everyone just a little sample of, what's coming up. Like a little preview. All right. Kind of what we had, but this isn't really, but it is. We were there. We filmed a quickie.
Wrapping up our special on the Soldiers and Sailors Huntington Historical Society, and including Cemetery Walk. And I want to show everyone the wonderful view here. You can see the background, the church that's all the way over in Lloyd Harbor. That's the old town hall with the movie theater. You can see that little red dot in the back is the AMC. And behind the Huntington Arts Center, that building that we have focused on in some of our shows, that appears to be going up to its 3rd floor. Yeah, I can clearly see that from here. That's rumored to be a rooftop bar, but wow, the view up here is amazing. And we thank our hostess today, Miss Erica, for having us with her. She was just fantastic, and just just so very smart and charming. But that's a wrap for today. And Lisa and I just wanted to quickly get a pan of where we were today. Enjoy today's Huntington View.
We were so hot.
My God, we were so. Oh, tell them what we did right after we left.
We were
Because
so
I had to
hot.
rush you guys out, and I was like, I'm gonna faint. I'm gonna faint. I'm gonna leave.
For real.
No.
She goes, I'm going to faint. I'm going to die. I said, I'm going to throw up and die. So we drove through the old dairy barn down there. And we bought a thing of ice.
A bag of ice.
Bag
A
of
whole
ice.
bag of ice.
And I would hold it and put it here. And then I'd give it to Lisa and she's holding it just to cool down. We were that hot because we were up there for, for a good 2 hours filming.
Yeah.
It was ridiculously hot.
It was.
Walking through poison ivy. Oh, Dana, you would have hated it. You're so lucky you didn't have to go.
I'm grateful. I really am.
and knock on wood, I had no poison ivy. I cleaned my legs. I treated them just to be on the safe side because
we were walking through everything, and you'll see when we put the show up, which we're going to piece together for everybody this week and put it up for Tuesday. You'll see when we're walking through, there's poison ivy and the headstones, and the town takes care of it. But I think she had said they had only done half, and then they were coming back and doing the other half. So we'll see. We should follow up on that. But yeah, I was like, oh my, there's poison ivy everywhere. But we made it. We didn't die. We got our ice, and it was good. So
good. I'm glad it turned out good.
That's gonna be a great show. We've been working on that one.
There's a lot to see. There's a lot to hear.
There was so much.
Tune in for that. It's going to be a lot.
That's a two-parter. Yeah, we're gonna break that into part 1 and part 2. So, okay. So, any final thoughts?
I'm good.
No, I'm good too.
Okay. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed tonight's Huntington View, and we will see you next Tuesday, and then we'll be off for our break until the beginning of September, the first Tuesday in September, unless something happens and we have to come live, and please don't make us do that. But other than that, we will see you, and we'll be back soon, and we hope everyone enjoyed tonight's Huntington View. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye, guys.